You can now get insights from time spent on tasks and users in ClickUp to Sheets. If you don't know ClickUp to Sheets already, it's a Google Workspace add-on I've developed because I'm a ClickUp verified consultant, and I thought it would be useful for my clients, but also people that are using ClickUp to have extra tools to be able to pull out their data from ClickUp into Google Sheets and synchronize it seamlessly two ways. Now, if we start with time entries, I'm going to show you how this feature that I've introduced before has been improved with having reports. So as a reminder, time entries is in ClickUp. If we get to the timesheets area, we can have timesheets for people and you can see how much time they spent on tasks, right? So they can log their time and you can open up their timesheet and you can see how much time they spend on each and every task. That's a feature available in ClickUp, and it works in the way that you open up a task, you start tracking your time, and then it logs it into the task. And that's very handy because you can set the time as billable if you want to when you start tracking it. And you can also just record that time spent on your client projects and drill down through some insights. But unfortunately, ClickUp doesn't let you do anything with this data. It doesn't let you export it. You can have it in ClickUp, but you can't really export it. So I've developed a feature that lets you export this data. Since very recently, it also creates a report for you to be able to drill down and understand how much time you've been spending on each client and have some interesting charts for you. So let's give it a try. I'm going to click the workspace selection and pick the workspace I was in, which was called Agencies. And from there, I can bring in my time entries up to maybe a month. So I'll go from 1st of January till today, 14th of February. I'm going to click Create Report, which is a brand new feature. And once I've clicked that, not only is it going to bring the time entries, but it's also going to create a dashboard for them. So let's have a look and click Sync Time Tracked. It's going to create a new sheet. And on this sheet, it should create a dashboard for me. So let's have a look. First things first, we have the time tracked being recorded right here. And second, we have our dashboard having been created here in the bottom. Let's have a look at the first KPIs. We can see how much time we've been spending on tasks for this period of time. So for that month and a half, for example, we can see that we've been spending 2.3 billable hours out of 37 hours. Not great. We can see that on average, a session is about 0.3 hours. So on average, people are spending maybe like less than an hour on each session, about 20 minutes, something like that. And then you have some interesting charts. So you can see how long you've been spending per week on each task. So this is the week of the 19th of January, 26th of January, 2nd of February, etc. And then you can see the time you spend on projects. So I've spent much more time on this space called the delivery space, on the list called Monsters Inc., and maybe quite a lot of the list called Wayne Enterprises as well. 29 hours on this list and 2 hours on this one. And then you can have a ranking on the time you spent on those lists. So you've spent much more time on this Wayne Enterprise list, and then there's some other list on which we spend some time. And then you can see the tasks that you spend the most time in. That's super cool. You can see we spend a lot of time on that task called Web Agency Project. If I actually have a look into ClickUp and I open up that task, I can see that I've spent 22 hours. Now, obviously this is dummy data, but it can show you that it's very reliable and it matches what's in ClickUp. Let's get back to ClickUp to Sheets and look at the last KPIs. You can see the active hours per users, which is basically the time spent per each user. We have 3 users on our workspace, but as you have more, you can see how much time they spend over this period of time. And you can see if the time tracking is balanced, because it should be, right? You can see if everyone has been tracking their time more or less the same time in ClickUp, and you can also track the people that are not tracking their time and the bad practices. And then the billable hours per user. So you can see how much time people actually have billed to the client. I love this feature because it's a game changer for agencies. You can track your time, and if you toggle the billable button in ClickUp, you can see that data being pulled inside to ClickUp. Now, last thing, work patterns. You can view based on the time zone of the creator of the dashboard, how is time balanced out. So you can see that we're actually working regular hours, mostly logging time around 11, very strange, but it's actually because this is dummy data and I've logged a lot of time that period of time. It's quite interesting, right? And the dashboard is very laid out and you can share that with management if they're not using ClickUp. So I feel like this is super, super useful if you're using time tracking in ClickUp. Now, second feature I want to show you, very interesting as well, is being able to pull out user reports. So we're going to get to a workspace as well. And we have a few users on that workspace. So we should have some data. I'm going to get this one and then click create report. Now I'm going to blur out the username and the emails because these is actually a client account, but it brought about 100 users. And it brought their username, their email, their role, when they were active, when they joined, and also brought their permissions if they are guests. If I go to the bottom, we have a dashboard. And this dashboard tells us a few things. It tells us the amount of users we have in our ClickUp workspace, the adoption rate. So this is the proportion of users that have logged in the last month. And 100% is amazing, I'm telling you. It means everyone is actually using the software and logged in. Then we have the inactive users. These are the users that haven't logged in the past month. And that's very handy because you can either cancel their ClickUp subscription or push them to start using the tool if you feel like they should be part of your processes in your workflow. Next, we have the guest opportunities. These are blurred out, but guests opportunities are users that have a different domain name than the ClickUp owner and could be turned into free guests instead of members. This is to save you some seats in your subscription. And I love that feature because you can realize that you've been inviting people that could actually be turned into guests and be turned for free. And last one is pending invites. We have none here, but you can see the people that you need to send a reminder to connect to ClickUp because they have a pending open invite. And finally, you can see the proportion of users that are admins, members. This is actually not great. There's too many admins in that workspace, so there should be a red flag. Half of the people are admins, which is a big problem. And then you can see also the adoption status, so the inactive versus the active users, which is basically related to the amount of inactive users here. So having a little dashboard right here in front of you, both for users and for time entries, is a game changer in my opinion, because it really helps you drill down your ClickUp data. And that's just paving the way for the next dashboard, which is going to be the task dashboard. So we're going to be able to create insights on task exports from ClickUp to Sheets. And I'm really excited about this one. It's in the coming weeks. But let's start with user and time entries dashboards. Now, these are part of the upper plans of ClickUp to Sheets. And if you want to subscribe to ClickUp to Sheets, the link is down in the description and you have different plans for different levels. Two-way sync is coming very, very soon, probably next week. Dashboards is part of the business plan for now, but I might bring it back to the pro plan. I don't know yet. I haven't yet decided, but I feel like having all of these features and ClickUp to Sheets being a real assistant when it comes to your ClickUp data is really, really becoming better and better. This tool started from nothing and now it's much more powerful, and I'm really excited to share those features and those improvements to the world. So please give it a try. Give a try to ClickUp to Sheets. It's completely free to start the trial. It takes you 7 days to understand if this tool is actually useful and handy for you. And if it is, subscribe. And if you have any question, I'm here to help. Thank you for watching. Start trying ClickUp to Sheets. And until then, stay productive.